But thank you so much for joining us today, Dianne, and welcome to Offbeat. How did you first become interested in working in the theatre?
Oh, gee, it was a really interesting scenario. I my background is business management and really boring things like liquidations and things like that. And
Alrighty.
yeah, had I owned a few childcare centres and ran them, so very much business minded. And then life changed, and I decided. I went to an event and I thought, this is a great event. I love this event. And the person, I spoke to them and they said, oh, do you want to come and work for me? And anyway, I did their accounting. And then I'm going, oh, events are so good. So I started helping out with the event. One day my girlfriend said to me, oh, you've got to stop bumming around and get a real job. Like, seriously, this is not a career, doing all these events all over the place. So I thought, oh gosh, maybe I have to grow up and be an adult. This was in my 40s. So I applied for a job at the Women's Circus and I got it. And it was like, oh my God, I don't know anything about circus. I don't know anything about performance. I know how to run a business and produce an event. So that was my first foray into the arts. And it was a bit of a baptism of fire. It was a very wonderful organisation, but very complex with a lot of layers. But my forte was the financial management and business aspect of it, and at that point the organisation was really struggling, so my focus was to get it back on track financially. So my skill set became really handy, but then I also learnt to understand how money works with art.
Yeah.
And it's a unique talent, I can tell you, because there is not much money in art. So doing a lot with very little and being creative. But so that was sort of how I got into the arts and into performance. And so it sort of started as a hobby-ish sort of event producing thing, and then has just traveled through from there.
So leading on from all of that, and what you just talked about, Dianne, how would you describe the role Theatre Works plays in facilitating artists across the country?
I think we're at a place now that the amount and the level of support that we give to the artist as an individual or a collective is very unique, and it's probably the only thing like it in Australia. So when we talk about TheatreWorks co-producing, we underwrite all the financial risks, but we invest a lot of money into each production. So we've actually worked on that over this couple of years. So the actual hard money spend that we make on each production that comes in is anywhere between $20,000 and $40,000.
Yeah.
That's in cash that we spend on the production. That's in actual physical costs to the TheatreWorks to do that. As a starting point for an independent producer or a maker of theatre, $20,000 investment is a big start.
Yeah.
And it takes away a fair bit of the risk for them, because then they're getting a larger sum. So they get between 60 or 70% of the box office takings for that show. And that's how generally most of the shows work. They do either profit share, or if their box office is going to be a big one, they can operate on a more equitable model. But they're at least guaranteed they're going to make money. So that's sort of the model that we have progressed and we built on and we've developed. So we see that as quite unique across the board in Australia. And the great thing that COVID did for us is, along with our new narrative around who we were and the increased programming, plus the introduction of new programs, we've been able to leverage quite a bit of philanthropic support that we've never had before. And in doing so, we have invested every cent from those philanthropic sources to give and pay directly to artists to create work. So over COVID, we've paid a lot of artists an income to make work. And so that was a big transition for us to invest in the work right from the start, from when the writer has written it, to the development of the work, to the producing of the work. So it triples our investment in each production.
What has the pandemic taught you about the resilience and passion of artists and your fans of the theatre?
TheatreWorks has, up to 10 staff, and then exponentially in a year we work with over 300 artists. Wow. So the level of communication from my end was huge, communicating, the show's cancelled, what can we do to help you, where will it go, how will we get through this? And then, the mental health that imposed. There's a massive amount of loss and grief for these shows. These artists have worked on them. I'm talking, some of these shows have been in the pipeline for 2 years. For 2 years we've had conversations about this work, and they've gone through the process of finding money, casting, doing set designs and everything that you do, and you do it mostly as a labor of love. And there's a massive amount of grief around the loss. I spoke to a director the other day, and they had 5 shows postponed, and that's massive, and they were just absolutely devastated. And really the effect of that for that person is really deep, and I'm not sure how. I'm hoping, and I know that they will get back up and do it all again, because that's who they are. And that's when you talk about resilience, when the passion comes in and you remember why you do it, and when the doors start opening up again and we invite them back in and give them a big hug, it's like we hope that there's regeneration, but there will also be loss. There'll be artists that we won't see. So, there's just across the board the uncertainty of how are we going to even open up? Today, I do not even know. When the government talks about events opening up, we're all sitting there on our hands going, but when? And we are the first to close and the last to open, and the least support. We'll come back strong, and a lot of artists will come back with a story to tell. And I hope that we can see the brightness and happiness of the world on the stage, because it's been pretty dark, and I think there'll be a lot of stories that come out that need to be told. But hopefully we will tell a lot of stories that are just happy stories to get on with life, and all that sort of thing. So it's been an epic 2 years.
So what's the best way that we can stay up to date with TheatreWorks and all the shows and everything that is happening? How can
we're about to launch a new website, but that's how great my team are. Seriously, they just built a new website because our old one's like crap. So on our website, www.theatreworks.org.au, our social media, TheatreWorks, you'll find us on there. We're very active on social media. And just our season launches on the 28th of November, and we're just super excited for that.
Thank you so much, Dianne, for giving up your time and talking to Offbeat and me today. I seriously greatly appreciate everything that you're doing, and everyone at TheatreWorks and your whole team are doing for the it's been really
thank you so much.